Hey everybody, it's Dr. Cara, and I am here with your August 2020 monthly forecast with my Animal Wisdom Oracle cards. And before I shoot these videos, I always take a few moments to just kind of ground and center myself, tap into my guides, the energy of the month, and all those things. Um, and what's really interesting today is that what's very present for me is being in that place of just not knowing. Like I don't have any sense, any inkling of what's going to happen. And I wanted to share that with you up front because I think this is a place of discomfort for a lot of us as we become more practicing using our intuition, communicating with animals, doing any kind of energy healing, anything intuitive, or and just making decisions in our lives. We can be in that place of not knowing, which is uncomfortable, which we can shy away from. And so I just wanted to share that I still have that experience, that little like, oh, I don't know what's going to happen. What if I do it wrong? What if, all those things. So if you are somewhere in the beginning of your intuitive or animal communication or healing path, I just want you to know that that's totally normal. It's okay. Go ahead, feel that way. Keep going anyways. And it doesn't really go away. It's kind of like stage fright for performers, right? Like you'll want to have that little bit of like, ooh, because that means you're here, you're present, you care, you're involved in it. So I don't have any sense of what is coming up in the cards today. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. And so we're just going to find out together, which is, of course, the way it always is, right? We always find out together. But on different days, I'm more or less comfortable with that. So that's what's going on. So let's just do it. August 2020, what is in store for us this month? The first card I'm going to pick is from the top of the deck, and I've been just meditating with these, holding these, shuffling them, and this is where we are with the whale. So the whale is, as you can see, one of my favorite cards, one of my favorite animals. The whale is really about equanimity and really being grounded and centered and being the driving force in your own life. Understanding that there are cycles to life and surrendering to those cycles. We've had a lot of opportunity for that in the last 6 months all over the world, with just surrendering to what is and knowing that we're going through a cycle as we think about the pandemic that we're still in the middle of. There's cycles there too, right? The life cycle of the virus, the reproductive rate of the virus, all of these things go in cycles. So we are in some sort of a cycle, and to recognize that and surrender to that is the place of empowerment, really. And then the whale does remind us to love and care for the oceans. And I think that goes for all of the environments. And one of the things that early in this pandemic, when countries started shutting down, that we really noticed was that the pollution levels were down in the air, in the water, in the oceans. And so I hope that this is something that we can continue, right? Like we've got this global ecological reset, and hopefully we can continue to build on that and not just go back to our old ways of disrespecting and taking for granted the environment around us. So whale is really talking about equanimity. And if you haven't found your equanimity through this pandemic yet, then August is a time for that. The energy of August to me feels actually sort of peaceful as I'm now tapping into it, right? Like I didn't have this 5 minutes ago, but here I am now, and I'm starting to get the sense of August. And it does feel very peaceful, very supportive, very nurturing. So in July, we were releasing a lot of strong emotions and having maybe some conflicts come up. And in August, we can just let that all settle. I'm going to just pick the second card off the top of the deck, and it is the giraffe. And I have to say, you guys, giraffe hardly ever shows up. And also very, very interesting card, because with equanimity comes that quality of non-attachment, right? So Giraffe really gives us a higher perspective on life, that view from a higher elevation, right? You're a little bit removed, a little bit detached. So this may be a good time to kind of retreat into your place of wherever you live, and be a little bit detached, a little bit removed, not so triggered, not so pushed by whatever is going on in your community or in the world, but to take a little rest, a little time for recreation, right? A little time to reset and recalibrate. That's a better word. Recalibrate feels more accurate. So finding that equanimity and a little bit of detachment, not removed and indifferent, but just a little bit detached, and maybe being more of an observer this month, like, this is what's going on. Let's see how that plays out, rather than getting upset or worked up or against or in conflict about anything, but just to be in that place of acceptance and observation. That's this really, really soft. Again, the energy of the giraffe is also very soft, very peaceful. And the bottom, the card. So I'm just feeling through my cards, and the bottom card is the one that is coming forward to me. That is the hawk. So again, the hawk is also an animal that is a little bit removed, a little bit detached. They are sit and wait predators. So you'll see them perched for long periods of time up on a high tree or a telephone pole or power pole or something like that. And very, detached, very analytical, very mental, very logical, very thinking about things. But they also have this single-mindedness to them, where they choose what they're going to focus on, and everything else kind of dissolves in the background. And that's what I'm taking away from the hawk for the month of August. God, I really got ahead of myself there. The month of August is, again, you see that their challenge is being too unemotional, and the hawk reminds us to be patient. So having that single-mindedness about who you are, what you're up to, what's going on in your world, that's the hawk. And also a little bit of, again, being removed. Hawk's a little bit more intense about that than giraffe or whale. So I'm feeling like it's possible that towards the end of the month, things are going to possibly get a little bit more intense, a little bit more energy and focus in your area of single-mindedness. So as you're kind of harnessing the energy of August and finding this way to find your equanimity and your peace and your detachment, it may be that towards the end of the month, you're going to have a time that you're going to really need some mental energy to focus on what is important to you. And that would be the energy of the hawk. So going through the month, we start with the whale and equanimity. We move through the giraffe with detachment. And then we come to the hawk with single-minded focus. Interesting progression of the animals and the energy, and it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. And I think that the hawk showing up also really says to me that some of us in this community might have some resistance to the equanimity and peace, and we may be just more hawk-like all month. It may be just a little bit harder for us this month to really settle down and surrender to whatever the cycle is that we're going through, whatever part of the pandemic cycle we're in, the seasonal cycle, whatever cycle, the cycle of life, of our lives, whatever that is. I think if we have resistance to that, we're going to be more hawk-like, a little bit more intense, a little bit less comfortable than if we are more whale or giraffe-like. So that's another kind of interpretation of the cards and the energy to look at. And so I'd love to hear from you. Like, what aspect of these cards is really speaking to you? Are you feeling that same sense of peace this month of August, this surrender, really settling into and allowing things to unfold? Or are you feeling some kind of conflict or resistance around it, like it's not that easy to do? Put a note in the comments. I'd love to hear about it. And if you have any other insights into these three animals and the energy they bring and the awareness they bring, put that in the comments too. I always love to have that richness of the conversation that we can all have. So that's my forecast for August 2020. I hope it's a beautiful, peaceful month for you, and I will look forward to seeing you next time. Have a great month, everybody. Bye.